new name and a new report of a daring mission to, of all places, North Korea. First, though, the news of the day there. You can see the president signing an executive order today renaming the Department of Defense to the Department of War, or the War Department. It comes amid a bombshell report out today about a SEAL Team 6 mission. According to the New York Times, here's what they are reporting tonight. They say the mission was to plant a communications interception device to gain access to the North Korean leader Kim Jong-un's communication channels. During, of course, this was when Trump and North Korea and Kim Jong-un were going back and forth back in 2018, 2019. According to the Times, American SEALs fired on a North Korean boat after they were believed to be discovered, killing all the North Koreans on board. The mission was so covert, it reportedly required the direct approval from the president. The president asked about this today, and this was his response.
I don't know anything about it, no. I could look, but I know nothing about it.
Can you confirm that it happened?
I don't know anything about it. I'm hearing it now for the first time.
Joining us now, New York Times bestselling author of The Operator, firing the shots that killed Osama bin Laden in my years as a SEAL Team 6, as a SEAL Team warrior. He's also the host of the podcast, The Operator, former SEAL Team 6 member Rob O'Neill. Rob, it is so good to see you. I told my team when I heard the story today, I was like, I need to know what Rob O'Neill thinks about this. So here's the details. A submarine was there, launched too many submarines, and this is according to the New York Times. The SEAL Team 6 members got out, swam their way, tried to make it to shore. There was a boat all of a sudden that showed up, so they fired, and that of course, went haywire from there. What do you make of this?
Thanks for having me, Blake. I'm glad you thought of me when this came up, too. They won't fail to mention SEAL Team 6 and Red Squadron, which was the team that got bin Laden. I doubt any of the guys from the bin Laden raid were there. I know I was not there, so I can't say for certain what happened. But this is a sketch mission because there's two different titles when you're dealing with the U.S. Code: Title 10, Title 50. Title 10 would be a military standard, Army, Navy, Marine Corps, Air Force type mission. Title 50 is a broader scope of national defense where you're not necessarily dealing with a nation you're at war with, just like Pakistan. So different rules of engagement and whatnot. And you got to figure these guys are in a sub. They get out in many wet submersibles, we'll call them. In 40-degree Fahrenheit water, which is miserable. So these guys it just sucks in training, and they train for months on that. Then they get on shore in a country that's a hermit state, and they've got to plant a listening device. Apparently, they got compromised by a boat outside. And they don't know what that is because of the state. There's going to be patrols everywhere, but also something to consider is there's not a lot of wildlife, even birds in North Korea, because people are starving. You got to consider that here's someone out there trying to find anything to eat in the ocean. They're going for shellfish, and shots are fired. They kill because one guy got in the water. If you're on land in North Korea not knowing what that is, it could be anything, could be a reconnaissance element or security. They took the shots well within their rules of engagement, I might add. And then I don't know what they did with the bodies. I wasn't there. There's going to be reports, especially from people like the New York Times, to make our operators look as bad as they can. I don't know what they did with the bodies. As far as President Trump denying it, if something like that needs presidential approval, I guarantee right now, because it's looked like President Trump had never heard of it, someone's getting chewed out at this point right now. Because either he knew or he didn't know, or he wasn't pre-warned that someone did know and someone leaked. So either way, I mean, we've had guys go into North Korea before. I've seen dudes check into my command with silver stars, not from Iraq or Afghanistan. So they've done stuff over there as well. And it's usually these SEAL delivery vehicles doing it.
Why do you think this story came now? I mean, first off, obviously this was 5 or 6 years ago. It's deeply sourced from the New York Times. Why do you think we're learning about this now?
I mean, someone's getting paid somewhere. One of these anonymous sources, clout, or just in the back channels in D.C. where they can have a leak and they can try to make President Trump look bad while also making the Department of Defense look bad because they don't like Pete Hegseth, even though he wasn't involved with this mission. Obviously, he wasn't the SecDef at the time. But anything they can do to make the United States look bad, especially the New York Times, they're going to do it. They prefer communism to realism, and it's just something that they can just make us look bad, especially with the part about stabbing dead dudes in the chest to sink them. I don't see that happening. That's not even part of even when we're having a couple cold ones and talking about our standard operating procedures, we don't even joke about stuff like that. So I doubt that happened. But there's no positivity coming out of this leak other than hurting someone. And it's just I'm so sick of DC with let's talk about the negatives. Imagine if we talked about stuff that was positive. Crazy.
Let me leave you with this, because not only was there this 2019 mission, but they also say there was one in 2005 that we're also learning about from the first time. And just as I don't know, as someone just reading this and interested, I thought to myself, well, this apparently happened in 2005, SEALs going into North Korea, and it happened again in 2019, SEALs going into North Korea. Yeah. Are there other instances that we don't know of that maybe this happened? I don't know. I think it's a reasonable question.
Yeah, usually when I'm interviewed, I do talk about stuff I can talk about. So this is some of the sensitive stuff. And fortunately for me, I'm usually not smart enough to talk about classified stuff because I don't get it.
Fair enough.
Some of the guys
I'm not trying to put you on the hot seat here. I'm just,
no,
you know.
I know.
Yeah.
No, some of the guys I mentioned that checked into my unit with Silver Stars were on some of those missions before. And again, I'm not necessarily privy to them, but it sounds usually, and I'm fortunate I don't know much about them, because that means the northern part of the Atlantic in 40-degree weather. I'm glad I wasn't there. It sounds shady, but yeah, there are people out there that a lot of these jobs are not as sexy as some of the others, and these are really hard jobs that hard men do. And I'm glad they're out there. Some of them work, and unfortunately, we hear about the one that didn't.
Right.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.